Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 21st. This is Gina McGuire. Currently, we are expecting very warm and dry conditions to persist across the Great Basin, with single-digit relative humidity across much of Nevada and Utah, and also winds increasing today over much of Nevada and into central and southwest Utah. These wind gusts will be above 35 or even 40 miles per hour at times, with relative humidity below 10%. Therefore, we will see an increase in fire potential or an increase in fire activity on ongoing fires. We also will see temperatures increase as we go into later in the week. Therefore, we may see more record-breaking temperatures across much of the Great Basin, and the first temperatures exceeding 100 degrees in the valleys of parts of western and northern Nevada into Utah as we get into Friday and the weekend. We may also see a return of thunderstorm activity in some areas later this week. Over the last week, we've seen no precipitation across much of Nevada and into Idaho, with some areas of precipitation over parts of the eastern half of the Great Basin. However, the last several days have been dry. Over the last 30 days, we have seen plenty of moisture to allow for new fine fuel growth across the Great Basin, with areas of Nevada and Utah seeing above normal precipitation over the last 30 days. However, still some areas of southern Nevada and southwest and central Idaho have continued to see below normal precipitation. Now looking at the current water vapor satellite image, strong high pressure dominates the southwest into the southern portion of the Great Basin, which has been keeping temperatures very hot with excessive heat warnings in effect over southern Nevada, where temperatures have set some records over the last several days. An area of low pressure off the Pacific Northwest coast will move northeastward, and this gradient between the area of low and high pressure will allow the winds to increase significantly across the Great Basin today, with the strongest winds over Nevada and Utah with still very dry conditions. We are seeing decreasing fuel moisture across the area with increasing fire potential, especially over parts of southwest Utah into the Arizona Strip and southern Nevada and western Nevada, and we will see these drying conditions persist and spread east across the Great Basin this week. Therefore, today, again, single-digit humidity over much of Nevada and Utah, with the strongest winds over Nevada, where wind gusts will exceed 40 or even 45 miles per hour at times with these dry conditions. However, fuels over still the eastern half of Nevada are still on the green side, but will be curing over the coming week. Still over western Nevada, there are red flag warnings in effect for these gusty winds and low relative humidity today, also due to the very dry fuels, especially in the mid to higher elevations and the lower elevation grasses. Now looking at early in the week, we will see this trough of low pressure that was off the Pacific Northwest coast move east, with high pressure starting to rebuild over the southern portion of the Great Basin, with continued dry weather, although temperatures may decrease a few degrees over the northern areas of the Great Basin as the trough moves east. We will still see above normal temperatures, and fuels will gradually dry as we move from west to east across the Great Basin. Relative humidity will remain in the single digits over Nevada and Utah, with winds still breezy on Monday but much less than what we will see today. However, wind gusts will be strongest on Monday over parts of Utah, where wind gusts could exceed 30 miles per hour at times. As we move into Tuesday, the pattern changes very little. However, temperatures will gradually be increasing with continuing drying of the fuels, where temperatures will generally remain 5 to 10 degrees above normal over Nevada and Utah and near or a few degrees above normal across Idaho. Relative humidity will still remain in the single digits. Now looking at the middle of the week, on Wednesday, high pressure starts to rebuild and push further north. We may see a weak return of moisture over parts of southeast and eastern Utah by the middle of the week, bringing a chance for some thunderstorm activity. However, this thunderstorm activity will likely only last a day or so before we see drying again across all of the Great Basin. As we move towards later in the week and the ridge strengthens, we'll see temperatures significantly increase to 10 to 15 degrees or more above normal from Friday through the weekend, especially across Nevada and Utah, where we will likely see record-breaking heat in many areas. Also, we will see the fuels rapidly dry due to this hot and dry weather continuing, and we'll see many areas of Nevada and into Idaho turn into yellow and brown, indicating an increase in fire potential or an increase in fire activity on existing fires. We also may see a return of moisture possibly by next weekend over parts of southern and western Nevada and the Sierra around this area of high pressure, and this will be monitored as these areas will be critically dry, and also any lightning may increase fire potential after a very hot and dry period. Now we'll look at current fuel conditions across the Great Basin. ERCs are still below the 50th percentile in all areas, however will be increasing more rapidly through next week, especially over southern and western areas of the Great Basin, with some areas exceeding the 80th percentile. Live fuel moisture for sagebrush has been near normal across most of the Great Basin. However, in the pinyon, juniper, and pine areas, especially over western and southern areas, fuel moistures are well below normal. If we look at the next 8 to 14 day period, we'll continue to see this very warm temperatures across the west with above normal temperatures. However, we may start to see some areas of above normal precipitation, especially over the eastern areas of the Great Basin as we get into early July and we see moisture moving up from the south. That concludes this briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to call or email us at the emails on the screen or follow us on Twitter. Thank you for listening.